Spoiler alert, making 100 grand a year, or even six figures for that matter, isn't as hard as most people are making it seem. You see, society places this pressure on that $100,000 mark, which in my opinion in 2021 isn't as much as it used to be a couple years back. But for some reason, 100 grand still seems to be that first number that people tend to aim at whenever they are seeking financial freedom, or whenever they are looking to step into that next income bracket, or whenever they're looking to obviously hit that next level, whether they're looking to make 250, 350, even $1 million a year. And I get it. Obviously, to get to those numbers, you first have to get to $100,000. But I want to break down in this video whether you're aiming to hit $100,000 a year, or if you're aiming to hit $1 million a year, the science and the math behind it doesn't actually change as much as a lot of people make it seem. What I mean by that is, if you actually run the numbers and you break them down to the smallest common denominator, and then you actually have the emotional side behind it, meaning the systems in place, then you can hit just about any goal that you break down in smaller chunks, because it's much easier to process. So as you're going through this video, I don't just want you to focus on the $100,000 mark. I want for you to kind of follow me along and break down your own numbers of whether or not it's 100 grand, whether it's 250, whether it's a $250,000, whether it's $500,000, whatever that goal is. And it doesn't even have to be 100 grand. We just wanted to use $100,000 as the primary example, because again, it seems to be the number that gets floated around the most. So first things first, we are going to break down the video in terms of the numbers that you need to focus on when you're first looking to hit your first 100 grand. And then the other aspect of it, which is the systems and the mindset and the emotional aspect of it, because it does require a different way of thinking about money and what you do for a living and how you earn your income. So first things first, I want you to ask yourself, that $100,000 mark, did you think of that one day you woke up by yourself, or is that possibly a number that, again, you've seen thrown around either by coworkers, either by family members, either by business partners, maybe across your network? How did you actually arrive to that number? Now, that's an important question to ask yourself, because you could be aiming too low. Right now, you could be in a space and you could have an idea that you should really be aiming for $250,000, or you really should be aiming and you really could hit $300,000, but you could be aiming too low, which is another reason why I want you to really think about this as you do this exercise. But if we are talking about the $100,000 mark here, it's going to break down like this. It's going to be $100,000 a year, breaks down to $33,000 a month, $1,924 a week, $274 a day, or in a really simple form, it's going to be $48 an hour, assuming this is an 8-hour work week, and assuming that you are working for that $274 a day, assuming you're working if you're working 365 days a year. So how does this actually break down? We're gonna break it down from the side hustle or the business side, but I also wanna talk to some of us who still have our day jobs and haven't taken the complete plunge into the entrepreneurial world. So if you're, let's say, looking to get into some type of e-commerce sales, or if you're looking to maybe put a vehicle on Turo, or if maybe you are looking to go on the Facebook marketplace, buy things and then resell them, we call that product arbitrage. Or if maybe you already have a product that you maybe have hair products, or maybe you sell notebooks for a living, or maybe you do some type of phone screen repairs, whatever that is, just apply whatever you're doing and your price point to the numbers that we're going to be breaking down here. So 30 product sales a day at $9.99 is going to get you right above that $275 mark, which, assuming you're running these sales every day for 365 days, that's going to give you your $100,000 a year. 14 product sales at $20 a day. You have 3 sales at $99 a day, and then you have 1 sale at $275 a day. Now, you can go ahead and mix and match different tiers, different price points with this. Obviously, if you are on the other side and let's say you have a product or let's say you have a consultation service business and let's say you're charging $125 an hour, then you can see right there that you don't need to work the full 8 hours in order for you to reach your goal a lot faster. Or on the back end, if maybe you have your funnels, you have your websites, you have an online presence, you can go ahead and use that to your advantage with leverage. But maybe you're thinking to yourself, Irv, I don't have any of that. I still have a job. Well, the advantage that you have of actually still having a job, assuming you make $50,000 a year, depending on what part of the country you live in, right? You're already halfway there. And of course, I get it. This is already, this is pre-tax. So you may have to, again, work these numbers in your favor. But now you only have to account for $50,000. So the numbers that we just finished breaking down, you only have to chop them in half in order for you to reach your $100,000 mark. Now look, if you ask me, the numbers are what they are. You can bend them however you want. You can cushion them however you like. But that's the numbers side. I know a bunch of people, ladies and gentlemen, that are good at breaking numbers down. They can do an Excel spreadsheet. They can break down the numbers far better than I ever can. They can give you every single cent to every single dollar of what needs to be done in order for you to hit $100,000 to the T. But these type of people are missing the most important part, and that's the actual and that's the actual emotional and business side of what it takes, and the mental side of what it takes to hit $100,000 a year. I call it the law of the lid. I remember when I first hit my first $100,000 year. For some reason, I felt as if I finally did it, right? And then I did it again. And then I did it again. And then I did it again. It became a lot easier to hit $100,000. And I bring that up because once you hit a certain pinnacle or once you hit a certain level, for some reason, the thinking around it becomes a lot easier. Think about when you first started driving your car, or even better, let's keep it around the subject of money. Think about when you first landed that one job that you never thought that you would be getting paid this much money for this job. And then you went to the second job and you started getting paid the same, if not a little bit more. And then you started another job and then you started getting paid the same, if not more. But before you were actually getting paid what you are now or what you were, how hard was it for you in your thinking to say, no one would ever pay me for this job that I do or for this service that I provide? It's no different when you're when you're first trying to hit that $100,000 year mark. So first things foremost, you're thinking, you have to believe, look, I'm going to be able to hit this goal. That's first and foremost. It doesn't matter whether it's a $275 product. Doesn't matter if it's a $100,000 product. It doesn't matter if it's a $50 product. The thinking is all the same. I know people that struggle to sell a $20 product the same way that people struggle to sell a $20,000 product. It's all the same thought process in terms of self-belief. Here's the second thing behind it. The second thing is you want to make sure that you're getting around people that are already at that level, if not a little bit higher. I know that we've all heard the terminology. We've all heard this quote where it says, tell me who the 5 people are around you and I can possibly guess your income within a couple of dollars, right? I believe it was Jim Rohn that said that. He said his mentor once said, I can guess your dollar amount of what's in your bank right now by looking at the people that you hang around with. So start looking at the people that you hang around with. And this isn't necessarily to cut out your group or your inner circle, but it does mean that you may need to branch out and start looking at people that are thinking at a different frequency and at a different level than you possibly are, because they're going to expose you to something that you possibly haven't seen yet. And I love saying this, and I say this whenever I get around hungry entrepreneurs, because I've been there before and I know exactly what this feeling is like. Once you see, you can't unsee. And that is the truest thing. Once you hit that dollar amount, or once you have X amount of sales in your business, or once you arrive to a certain goal, it's hard for you to go back, because you're always now you're always thinking, okay, what's next? I did this, so now what's coming up next? Now what do I need to get better at? Now what can I perfect? So once you have your mind right, or you're thinking right about what you're doing and what you're earning, once you get around the right type of influence and the right type of crowd for where you're where you're headed, you want to focus on this third and final thing, and that's building out systems for how you plan on getting there. Yes, you want to make more money, but you don't want to get to the point where you're just trading your time for money because you're going to go into an emotional roller coaster that if you don't show up, then no money is made. This is why it's important to continue to build your personal brand. This is why it's important to have your website. This is why it's important to continue to work on developing your product, where the biggest, what I can say, marketing or the biggest promotion isn't going to come from the ads that you put out. The best marketing tool that you're going to have are going to be your customers whose lives you change or whose lives you help improve by the services or the products that you provide. And again, you don't need to be the next Jeff Bezos, flying to the moon, the next Amazon. But if you are creating a product that's help facilitating something for someone, maybe they're saving a couple extra bucks by doing business with you, or maybe they're making a couple extra bucks by doing business with you, or maybe you have a notebook. Look, something like this is a great idea that's maybe specific to what that person wanted. Even if it's not the most expensive product, you best believe that person is going to start referring you everyone that they know. So get creative, because everyone watching this video right now has an idea that they've been looking to implement that can definitely bring them a couple extra bucks and that can ultimately help them reach that next level tier income. If you found value in this content, consider hitting the subscribe button down below. Join the official community. Don't forget that anytime I'm not posting on here, I'm posting over on the Inside with Irv show, which is my podcast style channel. So if you like what we have going on over here, you'll love what we have going on over there. Once again, I appreciate you guys checking us out. Until next time, everyone, I will see you in the next video.